Mental Training 101. And now back to Get Warrior Tough with Andrew and Dutch.
I'm offended, Dutch, by this whole conversation. How dare you? I should be allowed to wear flip-flops and a tank top, and you should pay me extra and change the policy. This is very strict, and the hypocrisy of allowing someone who lost a limb in combat wear whatever shoes that, fits on the artificial leg. I'm incensed.
Unbelievable. I wish I could have been a part of the team that made the decision to let these folks go, because they missed it so poorly. I mean, they swung wow, so hard and missed. I mean, what do you call it? The corkscrew swing, where you swing and you miss the ball so bad you start spinning and you drive yourself into the ground. That's what they did. And I'm embarrassed, and I would be ashamed if I was one of them.
All right, now it's time to take it. Okay, so I'm going to take the heat off the millennials. This is not their fault. You know whose fault this is? It's the parents, it's the teachers, it's the school administrators, it's society. It's all the people that came before them that allowed this to go on, that this thought process to go on, that allowed them to get all the way through college and have no idea how to think thoughts and just think through the process of even asking the question, why would one person, like you said, one out of everybody violates the dress? And really, it's none of their business why, to be honest with you. But you would think you would ask before you wrote a petition, and basically you're going on strike. It's hilarious.
Unbelievable. I don't know where there's so many different places to begin.
And they were shocked, Dutch, that they weren't given a chance to defend their actions. That cracks me up. Like, how are you even defend any of that?
Why didn't anyone tell us that young lady lost her leg in combat? We didn't know.
Yeah, we could have factored. That's the quote. We could have, if we had known about that, we could have factored it into our argument. Like, what possibly? How do you change your argument? How does that factor in? You know what? If you had been on the battlefield with that young lady, if you had been in combat, if you had seen, fellow millennials shedding their blood so that you could cry about the dress code, then okay, I guess maybe you could factor it in. But, you wouldn't even have had that thought process if you had done that. Could you imagine walking into boot camp at any of the services and telling them the dress code's too strict?
Unbelievable.
I mean, even the Air Force wouldn't put up with that.
Unbelievable.
This just cracks me up, man.
It's just shocking that people really, that they really consider. Now these are educated young folks, right? I mean, they're the internships that tells me that they were college educated or in the midst of college, the college experience. The lack of servant attitude, it just kills me, because again, when you walk into it, people have to understand what an intern is. An intern, you're basically a servant. You're basically auditioning. You're basically trying to show that you can be a part of a team. You're trying to show your mettle. You're trying to show your skill set. You're not trying to come in and reshape, restructure, reorganize. Who are you? You haven't done anything to earn any of that, but I guarantee you. So this isn't about changing policies, because we know that great employees have impacted policies everywhere, right?
Right.
But you surely should have to come in and earn the right to do those things, right? And the first step is becoming an employee. I can't stress that enough.
Get the job first.
Earn the
Get
right.
the
Yes,
job
you
first.
have to. I can't be a part of the NFL Players Association until I get to the NFL, no matter what I feel like about their policies, about their brand. I don't have the right to speak on behalf of an NFL player unless I'm an NFL player. I don't have the right to change the employee handbook unless I'm an employee. You are not. You are an intern. So again, get in there, worry about being a servant, solving problems, and I guarantee you, those managers, those executives, they will give you whatever you want once you begin to solve problems. You have as much influence as your little heart would have ever desired once you begin to solve problems. They hadn't even gotten to first base.
Right, and look, this isn't something I could see. All right, if you want to do a petition or whatever, if there's they're asking you to do something unsafe, or it's unreasonable, work hours, or unreasonable criminal tasks or illegal stuff. I get that. This is the dress code, people. All right. So here, I'm going to give you. Here's three. Because this is not just millennials. It really is what we call the average-minded, Dutch. It's the masses.
Mm-hmm.
This is the average-minded.
It is.
All right? This is how you can turn it around. Number one, stop blaming everybody and everyone else. It's you. Don't blame the government, the big banks, the economy, the old people. Don't blame your mom and your dad. Stop blaming your employer, the landlord. The mall for not being open on Sundays or whatever, early in the morning, the media, the airlines, the weatherman, whatever it is, stop.
Now, and I want to, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you say stop blaming them, you don't mean that they're right or wrong. What you're saying is blaming them does nothing for you, especially when you have a target or a vision. Like that doesn't blaming anyone for if I do something to you, you'd be better served to begin to solve the problem, move forward, than stand there blaming me for it.
Dutch, you and I talked about this on our advanced coaching call last night. We talked about our business relationship, you and me. We talked about when something falls through the cracks or something doesn't go the way we planned it or whatever, you and I spend zero time, and I literally mean zero time, blaming each other or trying to, put the blame on an outside force, on the government. We spend zero time blaming other people. We just say, how can we fix it?
And it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that it's not broken. It doesn't mean that somebody didn't do that to you. It means it's all about how you deal with it. When these interns saw a problem, and this should hit it home right here. If any of those interns had a target for why they were there in that position, dress code would have been irrelevant.
Right, it's sand trap.
It would have been irrelevant.
Totally irrelevant to the target.
So that one person that didn't sign. When they come to me, I'm saying, hey, man, that's irrelevant to me right now. My target is to get this position so I can come in and influence this organization on a larger scale. That dress code is irrelevant. Like you said, that's a sand trap. I'm not getting in that sand. I'm not going to purposely get into a sand trap when that's irrelevant to my target. But I guarantee you those interns did not have a greater target. They had no vision. And I question their identity because if they were aware, if they had an established identity, I'm pretty sure complaining about a dress code doesn't impact their identity, especially when it's tied to a larger target. What are they doing? Unbelievable.
Now, here's the second thing you could do. Stop surrounding yourself with only people that agree with you and your opinions. Like we call it in our business, organized disagreement. Dutch, when we first partnered up, I told you that we would have to disagree with each other, because if you agreed with everything that I said, what do I need you for?
Absolutely.
So we have organized disagreement. We don't have fights. We don't get emotional, but I need to be exposed to people that see things differently, have different opinions, and I don't get offended at them. I don't get offended at them. I have friends that are pro-gun and friends that are anti-gun. I ain't scared of being around either of them. I can't tell that story on the air. Stop surrounding yourself with, you know what? Go hang out with some people that have different political views, different religious views, that like it different. I said the other day, I'm a big-time Alabama fan, right? And Clemson, but Alabama first, right? So big-time Alabama fan. It's funny because we don't really have any Alabama friends. We have a ton of Auburn friends, though. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Why do you associate yourself with those folks? Says the guy whose team plays Auburn in the first game of the year next year.
Yeah, I know, right? So but But it's funny because we really do. I mean, I have really great friends that are Auburn friends. I really don't have any Alabama friends that I hang out with. But I don't want to say rabid because I wouldn't poison any trees, and I'm not mean and and emotional about it. But I like to be around people that have a different opinion of mine, that see things differently. And this is funny because the millennials are all about diversity and all this stuff, but they're not really. They're only diversity in their quote safe space. They don't want to hear anything that comes outside of their little safe space of opinions, whatever is inside that safe space. We can't have any discussion that's outside of it because I surround my social media. I'm only listening to this media or that media that just agrees with whatever I say.
The funny thing about even things like diversity, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and we got on diversity training. And I said before diversity training, there needs to be leadership training.
Yeah,
because
a lot of a Band-Aid on a bullet hole.
Right. Well, see, because a lot of problems with diversity, the real root is lack of leadership. And so, if I started with leadership training, I'm going to eliminate some of the diversity issues because I don't have the hangups that come along with poor leadership. And so some of those things are going to fall by the wayside just because I'm a better leader. I'm a people whisperer. I'm focused on the target. So once I get my team with the same target, and while I'm developing, they're helping me develop a target. Everyone's in the room is participating in that target. We're understanding, we're growing in that target, that vision. Then I don't have the issues that comes with poor leadership that don't have vision, don't have a target, don't have the unison from a team, from a organizational standpoint. That happens when poor leaders come and they just gung ho it.
Right, unit cohesion is what we call it in the warrior culture. Is that that's how we gel together because there's the mission's bigger than each individual individual.
Absolutely, and you have people out there. You have people that so-called leaders that have been placed in leadership roles that don't understand that, so they're out there gung hoing it. They're out there lone rangering it. And so they have all these issues, and diversity falls under that. So again, when you start with leadership, then even if you enhance it with some diversity training, it's not going to be nearly as broad because you took care of a lot of it because you have good leadership. That's just what it is.
No, I'm with you on that, man. Because it's just, but it's funny because they all congratulate themselves on how tolerant they are, and yet they're the most intolerant people if it's anything that's outside their little box of what they consider to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could have a discussion about, various political issues, various social issues, various religious issues, and I don't get all torn out of the frame or emotional, and it's not that I don't love the person that I'm with because I still love them and I want to hear what they have to say. And this goes back to self-esteem. I've accepted me, so I'm safe. I don't have to worry about you rejecting me. Hey, listen to Get Warrior Tough Radio Show. We'll be right back with the last segment.